Alright everybody, so this is my 2006 Toyota Tacoma. It is the TRD off-road with the 4-liter V6 and 6-speed manual transmission. It is a double cab, and I'm just going to be going over things that I love about this truck. I'm going to break it down into a couple things: space, engine and transmission, the composite bed, aesthetics, wheel tire size, aftermarket and OEM support, and resale value. So why don't we just get right down into the powertrain. This has the 4-liter V6 and 6-speed manual transmission. I will say that I came from a 2014 Dodge Ram 1500 with the 5.7 Hemi and 8-speed automatic transmission. This is nothing as powerful as that, but I will say that you can bury this thing in 6th gear going 45 up a mountain and it will completely pull like you would not believe. It makes great torque down low, and the variable valve timing keeps it a lot of power up high too. I mean, this thing, I'm very impressed with it. For a quarter-ton truck with a V6, it's very impressive. I don't think you're gonna have any problems towing, whether you're gonna tow a small boat, a four-wheeler, things like that. I think reasonably you can expect to tow 3,500 pounds with this very comfortably. I would not go much over that if you get the automatic transmission. And I can only speak for the V6. I don't know about the 4-cylinder or an automatic, but this is what I have, and so far I'm really impressed with it. And I came from, a small block Mopar, a V8, and I love it, and I'm really happy with the power that it makes. All right, so let's get right down into space of the truck. This is a a hot topic with these Tacomas. So for me, I'm 5'10", 200 pounds, and I fit perfectly in this truck. Now, here's the thing. This is a double cab, and my 2014 Ram 1500 was a quad cab, so it had the smaller rear doors. But I think that if you are anywhere less than 6 foot, 200 pounds, you're going to fit perfect in this. I have friends that are 6'1", 6'2", and they fit in here perfectly. They fit in here just fine with no issue. Same thing with the rear doors. The rear doors are just fine too, and I keep a small toolbox back in here as well. So that's just something to think about whenever you're buying these trucks, is you're not going to get a lot of bed space, but you will get a lot in the rear seats if you buy a double cab. So that's just something to think about here. All right, another thing that I like about this truck is the composite bed. These come standard on all Tacomas, and I think pretty much a bed liner should come standard on any truck. But this in particular is interesting because it's not a normal composite bed liner. It's like part of the bed, and it's super thick. I put ramps in here, and it does fine. Four-wheelers, lumber, stuff like that, and it's perfect. I can't complain. The only thing that's really I don't so much like is this tailgate feels really cheap, but whatever, who cares about a tailgate, right? It does the job just fine. But yeah, another thing that I think a lot of people don't talk about is the front of the bed. Now, I'm not sure if it's because of the composite bed or just if Toyota engineered the front of them a little bit heavier duty. But I tell you what, I've sent a four-wheeler into the front of this bed, and it has not bent it in at all. Now, most other trucks, you try to drive up a four-wheeler real careful and, get it so where you won't hit the rear glass, and you rub up against the front of the bed, you're going to bend that front of that bed in. But this hasn't done it, and, I'm really impressed so far. This also has the cubbies on the side, which I've never seen any other truck other than like Ram boxes, but that's not quite the same thing. But overall, it comes with factory points where you can tie stuff down, and I really like it. I think it's a good bed. All right, let's get into the aesthetics of the Tacoma. Me personally, these second gens, I love them. They look great. This is a TRD off-road, so it's got painted front bumpers and all that. And there's not a lot of chrome on these trucks. That's what I kind of like. Even though they're older, when chrome was going, everybody was crazy over chrome, this doesn't have a lot of it. It's got a little bit on the front grille and the rear bumper and just the badges and stuff. But, other than that, the door handles aren't chrome, the mirrors aren't chrome, the wheels aren't chrome. You know what I mean? It's just something that you can appreciate, especially, in 2020 where nobody likes chrome. Very few people like chrome, especially factory chrome. And this does well, and I think with the blue color it really does pop with those 16-inch alloy wheels. So I love it, man. It's a very beautiful truck. So getting into wheel tire size, this in particular TRD off-road has 265/70/16s, which is great in my opinion because I'm an off-road guy. I like a lot of sidewall and not a lot of wheel. But even if you're not an off-road guy or girl, I would say that having a lot more sidewall is good because you're not going to curb the wheels as much, and when you're off-road you're not going to mess up the wheels as much, especially if you're doing rocks or mud or anything like that where they're going to scratch up the wheels good. You know, also you're not going to throw wheel weights as much, considering you won't be rubbing up against curbs and stuff and kind of clipping those wheel weights off by accident. And I think that's a really good thing to consider. Most trucks have a lot more sidewall, but especially with the TRD off-road and most Tacomas in general, you're going to get a lot more sidewall, which I really like. All right, so let's talk about aftermarket OEM support and OEM support. So me personally, this has 140,000 miles. I've had it for about 2 months, and I will say that I've put, I can get on eBay OEM parts, like OEM Toyota Lexus parts, which means a lot to me because I keep my stuff stock. And I just like it that way. I think they last longer, and I'm not, a kid anymore. I care about reliability, especially in my daily drivers. So, I keep everything stock, and I can get factory parts on eBay. I can get factory parts on Amazon, which is really, really nice. Also, Tacomas kind of have this following, not quite like a Jeep Wrangler, but they have this like aftermarket support like a Jeep Wrangler, where you can literally do anything you want to these trucks, which I like personally. If I was going to go down that route later on and I got another daily driver and I wanted to kind of make this into a rock crawler or some overland vehicle. So I like that. I think that that's a thing to consider when you're buying an automobile in general, is can I get parts for it? Are they readily available? Can I get OEM parts, aftermarket, whatever? And I think the Toyota Tacoma especially has that in the bag pretty good. The last thing I kind of want to talk about here is resale value. So this can be a good or bad thing. The bad thing is when you're buying one of these Tacomas, as you well know, if you're searching for one or just a Toyota in general, whether it's a Camry, Avalon, whatever, people want a lot of freaking money for these things, and they usually have a lot of miles. That kind of sucks, when you're talking one of these trucks having 240,000 miles and people want, 60% of what they cost brand new. It's like, that's not going to happen. You're out of your mind. But once you have one, the good thing is it'll keep its value real well. If I were to sell this thing, I've only had it for 2 months and I've only put 3,000 miles on it. But if I were to sell it right now, I think I could reasonably get at least 90% of what I paid for it, which is good. You put miles on the thing and you can get the money back out of it. That's a good investment, I think, especially as reliable as these Tacomas are. It's a really good investment, and I think that that's something that you should consider whenever you're buying one of these. So just to recap, overall, I think buying a Toyota Tacoma is a good purchase. I'm very happy with what I got for the money that I paid. You can look at my other videos and I'll show you what I paid for it and everything like that. I kind of break it down. But, if you like this video and you want to ask any questions about my Tacoma, or I've got four-wheeler videos or whatever, just give it a like and consider subscribing, and there's a lot more to come. And, if you have any questions or you're looking into, getting into Tacoma, feel free to, leave a comment and tell me what you think, or any more questions that you have or things that I didn't cover. I'm probably going to do the similar video, but with things I don't like about it, and once I make that video, I'll link it, or I'll put it in the description of this video. But thank you all for watching, and there's more to come. All right.